Hi everyone, and welcome to the Capricorn July 2021 Spiritual Connection reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and meaning-based spiritual coaching services. I am Lauren. Welcome. So this is your spiritual connection reading for the month of July. This is one of 3 readings I complete each month for each sign that focuses on an area of connection. So in the spiritual connection reading, we will be taking a look at how you connect your unique internal authentic self with your external environment. There's also a self-connection reading where we bring awareness to the self and connect you directly with your unique authentic self. And we have the love connection reading, which is where we take a look at how you connect your unique internal authentic self with the unique internal authentic selves of others. All right, so Capricorn, I felt called to do your reading today. It's a little out of order. Usually I just go down the zodiac list. It should have been Sagittarius's turn, but today I felt called to do your reading. So welcome. I'm going to start here with pulling a card to get a chance to see the energy that you're currently sitting with, Capricorn. So what are my Capricorns sitting with? Now, all of my content on YouTube and as well as my website are here to help illuminate basically your very own I am question. So if you'll notice in the description box below, I start with stating I am a spiritual coach. And it took me a long time to get to that place to be able to state my I am question, to basically be able to answer that. And all readings and all content are here to help you start to go down the path to be able to answer that for yourself. So Capricorn, we have the 3 of Wands. Now it's very interesting because actually this is the same card that Libra got for the month of July. 3 of Wands is a lovely energy. It's an energy where we are working with kind of the ships, your ships are coming in kind of energy. It's an energy of you've taken action from a place of passion, and now you're waiting for a result. Beautiful energy to be sitting with because it means that something is around the corner. Now, what I'm just picking up intuitively, which is a little different than what I was picking up for Libra, is that there's this quality of almost feeling like what you're waiting for is just out of your reach. I get this feeling almost that for some of you, you're sitting with, instead of having the correct perspective that these ships out here are coming in towards you, there's this quality of you having the incorrect perspective that perhaps you've missed the boat, so to speak, that these ships are actually drifting away from you. And it's all an actual perspective change, one way or the other. Now, the card itself denotes things coming towards you. So I think this is going to be where we get a chance to take a look at your external energy and perhaps a block in how you're perceiving what's coming in as instead something that's beyond your reach. Okay, Capricorn. Let's see what the energy of your external environment is, what it's calling you to do. Very interesting. Oh, I love this card. So this is the Fool. The energy of the Fool in the major arcana is the card of which it's the card that actually doesn't have a number. It has a number 0, but the number 0 is more of a concept. And there's this quality to the Fool where I look at it as the 0 point field. It's where everything and anything is possible. It's a cosmic reset for ourselves. It's where we get a chance to drop all of our baggage and start fresh. turn over a new leaf, a new chapter. If you notice in this picture of the Fool, and I apologize, the cards are very small. It's one of my favorite Rider-Waite tarot decks, but it is itty bitty. So in this depiction, it's literally an individual carrying just a couple belongings on a stick, and he is actually looking like he's about to just jump off the edge of this cliff, but with full kind of romantic awareness that it's okay. The universe is there to catch them. And there's no need for all of the other stuff to bring with them on this trip, because they have within themselves everything that they need, and they know that their needs will be met by the universe as they go out to start this new journey. So there's this very interesting interplay going on here between kind of waiting for your ships to come in, but actually feeling more like perhaps you've missed the boat and they're actually moving away from you, and the external environment, which is destiny, which is the universe, which is divine spirit, calling you out to say, no, this is a new chapter, time to move on, time to go out there and start fresh. So it's interesting in that when we think about the different perspective change here of this individual standing on a mountaintop looking out at ships in the horizon, and that you could either take those for ships coming in or take them for ships moving away. There's this quality that perhaps they can be both. When we think about the energy of the Fool and that anything is possible, and it's more about starting the next adventure, the next chapter, there is this quality that we can bring this back to this card to say, well, perhaps the ships are not only coming in, but you're meant to get on one and go out again with them. That it's not about missing the boat. It's actually about, instead of just waiting for them to come in and seeing what's on them, it's about waiting for them to come in and then actually embarking on one to leave where you currently are. So we'll see right now. That's just kind of what I'm picking up intuitively. I'm going to pull cards now. Ooh, that is way too many. Let's see if some of those come up again. I'm going to pull some cards now for what I call the void. And the void is this space, this protective barrier that is created as we move from childhood into adulthood, that we create ourselves as we bring vulnerable parts of our authentic selves into engagement with our external environment. And each time we feel that we perceive a negative response, we will create a barrier. Meaning, let's say you try to bring out a specific aspect of yourself and it gets criticized or laughed at, or you try to work with an ability and you kind of fail. But instead of perceiving that as a learning lesson to continue to work with a gift, you hide it. And these protective barriers, these masking layers, eventually create this void between your authentic self and the external environment. And this is where we not only become disengaged ourselves from feeling any type of emotional connection to our external environment, but it's also where our external environment can put these over here like that. It's also where our external environment ends up not reflecting what we're trying to manifest. It's also where people in the external environment don't seem to see us for the person that we know we are. And this is where frustration can also build up. This is where we don't understand why our actions are not creating what we want for ourselves in the external environment. And it's basically because we've created all these layers to where we're no longer engaging authentic parts of ourselves. And so we just end up going through the motions. We end up just going, this is where we get lost in the day-to-day tasks, and we don't actually bring any of our passions. We don't make educated decisions based on our own behalf. We just go through the motions, literally. Okay, this is what I have to do. And we sometimes can actually end up basing what we make our decisions on based on the judgments or reactions of others. And that's really where we end up pulling away from who we are. And that can be very, not only detrimental to ourselves in that we feel a loss of connection to self, a loss of connection to our greater purpose in our external environment and to the greater collective, but it's also where we can end up perpetuating this cycle of a loss of connection just directly to ourself, where we end up doing more for others than we do for ourselves, but not in an authentic way. Okay, let's jump right into your cards here. Let's see this is going to show what your challenges are between your current energy and engaging kind of as this fool, as this beautiful, let's go out fresh into the world, to come into alignment with full faith in the divine. So the first card here is your challenge card. It's the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is actually a card that generally denotes something positive. The Nine of Pentacles is something that denotes some type of stability in the tangible world. And not only just stability, but stability on a level that you can be proud of. This is where you have financial stability, or the home life stability, or work life stability that you can be proud of and show others, I've worked hard to achieve this. And where you get a chance to kind of enjoy the fruits of your labor. But where it can become a challenge is when it actually becomes a place of entrapment, meaning that this is the comfort zone. This is where we end up getting into a place where we, at one point, it had seemed great. We had been working towards the goals and the stability and whatever tangible creation we're sitting with. At one point, we had been working towards that. And Capricorn, your superpower is being able to manifest through your work effort and ethic. You are able to manifest and complete goals of your choosing. So at some point, what you currently are experiencing now, this current level of comfort and stability and security, is what you had wanted. But where, again, it can limit us in our emotional and spiritual growth is when it becomes almost like being trapped in a beautiful garden. That yes, you're surrounded by all of these beautiful creatures and flowers, but in reality, it's a walled garden. You can't go out beyond it. And yes, it may be comforting and safe inside, but eventually, you're going to need to move beyond that. You're going to need to kind of stretch your legs or your wings, so to speak. And I think that's where a lot of you are right now, in that you're kind of trapped in this, but in this place of, but this is safe and secure for me. I've achieved this level of abundance in my life. Do I really want to move away from that? Because if you think about this man on this hill waiting for these ships to come in, and he might have the opportunity to board one onto his next new adventure, which is what you're being called by spirit to take on, well, that means he's going to have to leave his safety and security. And what I'm seeing here, combined with the Two of Pentacles directly next to this, is the Two of Pentacles is truly the card for me that denotes the getting lost in the day-to-day tasks. This is a card of juggling very small, mundane tasks. It can also denote making a choice between two kind of items of equal value in the tangible world. But in this context, this is really kind of getting lost in the details. This is wanting to stay safe and secure and keeping yourself busy so that you don't have to face what you're being asked to move into, so that you don't have to face that there is a change coming. And when I think of the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles really is, I've always found this as an interesting depiction in this specific deck, and that it's showing an individual who looks like perhaps he had just come off of a ship with, in this image back here, I'm sure you guys can't see it, but there is a yin and yang symbol on that boat. And it's almost like the boat of balance is leaving and he's now coming onto shore and trying to juggle between some very dangerous things here. There's kind of a spiny shell here and a snake here, and it's almost like he's kind of gone away from that beautiful element of balance and now is thrown into kind of a a rocky, dangerous space as he's trying to navigate now away from that. So there's this element of truly getting lost in the day-to-day tasks, that there's no balance, that this is where we can get stuck kind of just doing everything, where we're not delegating. It's just everything's on us to do. Now we have at the center of your reading here, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is an energy of knowing where, it is the complete opposite of the Two of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is knowing where to put your energy into one area of your tangible life. She is the mother who is going to nurture her child. And that pentacle can be whatever. That pentacle can be her business. That pentacle can be her actual child. That pentacle can be her saving towards a home. But whatever it is, it's going to be of value to her, and she is not going to juggle and just waste her energy kind of willy-nilly just trying to do everything. She's going to know the value of her time and effort, and she's going to put it in the place that has value for her to continue to nurture and grow it. So there's this element of getting back into this place, moving away from just kind of doing and moving into stepping back into the Queen of Pentacles energy. Now the Queen of Pentacles it harnesses the energy of Earth. So this really is an energy that is you, Capricorn. Normally you know where to put your resources. You know your actual motto in the zodiac is I use. So you are able as a superpower to bring forward all these little things in your tangible reality, to use them towards creating and nurturing your one pentacle, whatever your goal is at that time. Now granted, the dark side of that is when you can actually instead use other people to achieve what you want. And that's where we can get into, I say a dark side, but it's really also where we move away from doing something authentically for ourselves. So when we put on another the responsibility of nurturing our pentacle, that's not healthy delegation. That's not the delegation that's needed here, where you sit there and you say, okay, I have 2 chores to do. Gotta go grocery shopping, but I also have to run to the post office. But I don't have time to do both. Well, instead of trying to stress yourself out and juggling all of that to the point where you just come home and you're exhausted, no, you're going to delegate. You're either going to delegate it to somebody else, or you're going to use what you have at your disposal and realize, okay, I can pull up my calendar and realize I can utilize my ability to prioritize. So what is more authentic to me in the moment that's going to move me forward? And if that's going to the grocery store because I need to make dinner for myself because I have no food at home, and the item I want to mail out can get done tomorrow, well then I'm going to prioritize the one task today, not try to burn myself out on doing 2 tasks, and the other one will get done tomorrow. That's, another form of delegation if you don't have somebody else to work with. But in Queen of Pentacles, when you utilize somebody else to grow your own pentacle, that's really where that can be. It's no longer delegation, it's now you are using somebody else. And then you lose connection. Why that's not a good thing is because you lose connection to your goal. You lose connection to the actual why behind this is what you want to work towards. Now, coming on the other side of this, we have Temperance, and we have the Prince of Pentacles, which actually in this deck, excuse me, got a yawn coming through there. Sorry guys, sometimes when I channel I yawn. So I have Temperance, we have the Prince of Pentacles, which in this deck is the Knight of Pentacles, and then we have the 8 of Swords connected with this. So right now, Temperance is a card that denotes exactly what you see this woman doing here. She's mixing 2 things together to temper them, to balance them, and to create something new. There's a quality here with Temperance that involves taking passion and emotion, fire and water, and bringing them together to not only balance them out, but to also create something new from them. And Temperance can also be where we get back into alignment with balance. This is where we can take a step back, evaluate our situation, and be able to perhaps take 2 things that we didn't think could work together and now balance them out. For me, it's a card of freedom. It's a card that denotes change, but change through you creating that change with the help of spirit. So there is this element of kind of divine intervention to create a change where you're able to kind of regain the sense of balance, but also perhaps you've gone a little too far this way or a little too far that way, and this is where the divine steps in and says, okay, let's bring it back. You've gone a little too far to the right. We're going to bring it back, and we're going to mix a little bit of what you've been ignoring over here, and we're going to show you that this is what you can do with both together to kind of bring you back to a midfield, aspect. So it's this element of almost divine intervention of bringing you back to center. And then we have the Prince of Pentacles. So again, I'm going to call this the Knight of Pentacles. So we have the Knight of Pentacles here, and the Knight of Pentacles is about its slow movement towards growth in the tangible. This is working diligently, step by step towards a goal. So the Knights in the tarot are they're cards of movement. The Knights in the traditional tarot are shown as a man on a horse with his specific element, and they're moving forward. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving of all the knights. He is the one who is tasked by the queen or king to take the pentacle, if you imagine this as a seed, and to go out and figure out how best to plant it, what to do with it, to be able to continue to make it grow and expand and become prosperous. So this is a card of, it's actually a card that's associated with Virgo. And if you think of Virgo, Virgos are very detail oriented. They're perfectionists. And there's this quality about creating a plan, getting it right, and then enacting it step by step by step. But we also have the 8 of Swords coming up with this. And so this is the challenge of stepping into the place of the Fool. So we're moving from a place where you're being asked to leave a point of security that has kind of kept you held back. A place where you've lost yourself in the day-to-day tasks, specifically to try to not have to face the fact that some things are going to have to change. That you have a new goal now. And that it's time for you to step back into this place of power, into the place of being the Queen of Pentacles, of knowing where you want to put your energy and nurturing your own pentacle. But you're being held back now. So the Eight of Swords is a card of being held back in your thoughts. But in reality, it's just an illusion. The Eight of Swords, you can see these people are just kind of stuck, wandering. It's not because these swords form an actual barrier that they can't leave. It's that they are perceived that way. When in reality, they could just simply walk out of here and continue on their path. But instead, what's happening here is you're getting lost in the details, lost in the plan. This is the can't see the forest through the trees, so to speak, where everything has to have a place, everything has to be perfect, this has to be done before I do this, before I do this, before I do this. And then it becomes, okay, well then I can't do anything. And what you're being asked to really focus on here is to release the fear that what at one time had been a goal of yours and what now you have achieved, and it's given you a level of stability and a level of something to be proud of, that now that is become a place of entrapment for you, and that you're being asked to grow beyond that. But in order to do that, you have to step back into your full power of nurturing your own pentacle, of working with spirit to self-correct a little bit, to get back into balance between your emotional state and your passion. And this is a beautiful card where we get a chance to reevaluate that. To reevaluate where your passion lies now and bringing that into alignment with how it emotionally makes you feel. So perhaps at one point you had been passionate about a specific area and it had brought emotional fulfillment, and through that it actually created also something tangible for you, a level of stability and an emotional connection to that stability. But now that passion and emotion has gotten so far off track for one of two reasons. Either you're no longer passionate for what you had originally been passionate for, or your emotions around this passion have gotten so out of control that you've lost actually what you were intending to work with, what you loved about this passion. And now you are so emotionally disconnected from it that it's become a stress point instead of something to nurture. And so that's really where you're being asked to come back to center, to evaluate your passion and your emotional connection to that passion now, and to temper it. To bring it back to a place where you are not throwing tantrums or feeling continually frustrated, or in a place where you almost want to be brought to tears. This is about bringing everything back to a place of balance. So you should be working healthily with your seat of passion, and you should have a really nice emotional connection to it. It's when we start to feel intense anxiety, or again, this place of what I used to love working with this passion, but now it's a constant stressor for me. Well, then this is where you get to have that divine assistance to say, let's just take it back a notch. Something has to change here. And that is probably going to mean that you're going to have to let go of some of these tasks that you're juggling. And that might mean having to face the fear that could very well disrupt this level of security and a goal you've already reached. But it's all to realign you with your next chapter. It's to free you from this place of stagnancy of, but I have to have a plan. But I have to do X, Y, and Z. And if this isn't done before this, I can't move on. This is about kind of throwing out the plan and not getting stuck in your head over that. And also not getting stuck in this level of perfectionism. Because the Fool isn't worried about perfectionism. The Fool is not going to wait for the ships to come in and then go on board and evaluate every little thing on those ships and say, that wasn't really what I was expecting. That wasn't what I was expecting. Instead, the Fool is going to see these ships come in and be like, oh my gosh, ships. How awesome. The universe is providing for me. Okay, which ship looks like the most fun to jump on board and take me across to the next adventure? And I think that this is what you're being asked to tap back into. Tap back into the excitement that comes with starting the next adventure, the next chapter in your life. Get back to tempering your emotions and your passions and to work with them from a place of where you find value in what you do. If currently you realize you're not valuing where you're putting your time and energy, well then you're out of alignment with yourself. Then you're just wasting your energy and your time and you're not working towards anything from a place of authenticity. So you're being asked right now to get back to that place of authenticity. Back to that place where you work towards your goal and you get to choose what that goal is. You get to temper yourself to realize, I don't have to be held back by being perfect. And I don't have to have everything perfect. I don't have to have the perfect house or the perfect life or the perfect job for me to feel happy in working with my passion and investing in a goal. I don't have to come from a place of anxiety and worry just to maintain something that perhaps I don't need anymore, because the next adventure is waiting around the corner. Okay, I'm going to pull some cards for the Triad of Engagement, which is a coaching tool I have developed to help people overcome and navigate across this void, to help reconnect with their authentic selves and connect that with their external environment. So, for the principle of curiosity. Now, curiosity is where we get to build the bridge across the void. This is where we engage with the principles of optimism, openness, receptivity. We're building the bridge again to our external environment, directly to our internal authentic selves, and we're saying, okay, I'm ready to see now from a place of optimism what's going to happen when I start to engage authentically with the world again. And you have the Sun, one of my favorite cards. Now this is a oracle deck, but this directly aligns with the Sun card in the tarot. And there's a quality to this card of illumination, but there's a quality of illumination of your authentic self, of realizing that all of these things, or any of these things, could be you. I love that there's, kind of this element of fantasy, a floating fish. There's a book here, an instrument down here, a baby. And it's almost like there's this is the kind of the cup of creation. And that you get to be curious about yourself again, fresh and new. who are you? The traditional card in the tarot is a depiction of a naked baby on the back of a horse with the sun behind it, and the baby has its arms up and it's just like, woohoo! And that's what the sun card really represents. Getting back to this pure, childish, not even childish, but childlike innocence of who you are. I mean, think about what's more innocent than a naked baby on a white horse. It's this it's getting in touch with the freedom of knowing who you are. And so for your point of curiosity, with building that bridge towards your external environment, it's saying, okay, if I do get on if I change my perspective and these ships are coming in, what will happen if I get on one of those boats and leave my safety and security? What am I going to illuminate about myself? What is actually going to happen to make me feel free? What do I get to leave behind in order to have filled? And why is Spirit asking me now to start this fresh chapter? What am I meant to do? What am I going to learn about myself? So now I'm going to pull a Power of Surrender card for the principle of courage. And courage is all about bringing us back to our place of personal power. This is about tapping into the courage to make the decisions, to take action, to walk across the bridge we've created with curiosity. It's not enough to just build the bridge and say, okay, I wonder what will happen. You actually have to take the action. And you have to do so from a place where you tap into faith. Faith in the divine. Where with curiosity, we tap into the sense of awe and wonder. With what we don't know, we tap into a sense of awe and wonder around the mystery of life. We get a chance to renew that childlike curiosity and that knowledge that we don't know everything. We get to engage with destiny. Now here in courage, we get a chance to come back to our personal power. This is where we get to take action. This is where we get a chance to tap into free will and engage free will with destiny. Because the universe can be asking us to do all kinds of things. They can be giving us all kinds of opportunities. They can be bringing all kinds of ships in for us. But if we choose not to take action towards them, then nothing happens. And that's really where we become detached and really where we lose our sense of purpose. And it's also where the greater collective experience misses out on what you bring to it. Okay, so for courage, we have 3 cards. So we have surrender to trust, we have surrender to the wisdom of your body, and surrender to play. I love all of these cards. So let's go into this. You have surrender to trust. It says, trust yourself in your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. And then we have surrender to the wisdom of your body. It says, listen to your body's messages about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. And then we have surrender to play. It says, take a break from overthinking a goal. Do something fun. Play is a time of recreation and rejuvenation. And I think these 3 cards are beautiful because each one of these really focuses here on the Fool. The Fool is in complete trust with the universe, so much so that he is willing to take a blind leap off of a cliff with the knowledge that he will be caught. Something will catch him. It always makes me think of that one of the last scenes in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where Indiana Jones has to basically blindly, he's passing all these tests to get to the Holy Grail. And one of those tests is to have trust, to put a foot out over a giant ravine. And he through faith, plants down on an invisible walkway. And that's really kind of what you're being asked to do, is to tap into that. Trust yourself. Trust the feeling now that there's something new. Trust that now you are being guided by the divine to kind of rebalance yourself, reestablish yourself. And that if you want to walk away from the security, well, you have everything within you to do it again, to create it fresh. Just because he walks away and gets on a boat here to go on a new adventure doesn't mean that he can't recreate what he's already created behind him. And I get the feeling that you might not want to. But the whole reason why you're walking away, why you're leaving at this point, is because there's a new part of yourself you want to tap into. Now, surrender to the wisdom of your body, same thing. The Fool is not going to engage, and actually, same with the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is not going to engage and waste her time investing in anything that makes her feel drained, because she's nurturing her pentacle. So she's going to, if it doesn't feel right, she's going to self-adjust. She's going to walk away from it. She's not going to do it. And the Fool, if you imagine this kind of as this like peppy young person, if they start engaging with somebody that makes them feel uncomfortable, well, they're going to just navigate around and look for those that make them feel happy and energized. For those that now align themselves with where they are. And then surrender to play. This is beautiful. Take a break from overthinking a goal. This character is not overthinking. In fact, he or she is so far beyond thinking or overthinking that there's almost no thought at all. It's almost just this element of, I want to go out with this romantic sensibility, to see the world from a fresh pair of eyes, to get a chance to see what's beyond the horizon that perhaps I've never been past. And in order to understand perhaps what's changed for you now, it's about taking action from a place of thinking about what it would feel like to be a naked baby on a horse, which is very playful. And we get to learn about ourselves when we engage in the element of play. There's a lot to be said as to learning through play. So when you think about children, yes, they play, but in playing, they are learning very quickly about themselves. And that's really captures this element of the Fool. Of he or she may look like they're going out and they're just having fun and just devil may care kind of attitude. But in reality, they're learning about themselves anew with each new interaction, with each new leap of faith. All right, now I'm going to get a final card here for the principle of contemplation. And the principle of contemplation is what gets to bring you back across the bridge from your external environment. So the principle of contemplation is very important because it engages us with self-education. It engages us with the ability to grow and transcend on a emotional and spiritual level. It's where we get a chance to take stock of what we were curious about, where we took action, and here is where we get to analyze the result. We get to contemplate what happened, and then bring that back to our seat of personal power and self-responsibility. And if we need to make adjustments or change something or take new action, we get to do that here. So this is where we get to learn from the consequences. This is where we get to learn through direct experience. It's what also keeps us from becoming stagnant in a negative repeat behavioral pattern. Because if we're constantly contemplating, or we're constantly holding ourselves accountable for the consequences of our actions, then we are always in some part self-aware of how we are engaging with our external environment. This is where we get a chance to realize, okay, one relationship didn't work. So the next time, I'm not going to just blame the person that I was with for everything. I'm going to bring that back and say, okay, so how did my action of engagement with this other person, how did that also play into this relationship that failed? And now I'm going to tweak. I'm going to tweak my actions the next time. I'm going to realize that I didn't apply that authentic part of myself correctly, or I hid it, and now I'm going to not hide it the next time around. Or this is where we realize, okay, we've been unhappy in two different places of work. Yes, there were some faults with both places, but I'm going to bring also some of that responsibility back to myself and to say, okay, perhaps I'm choosing the wrong place to work, or perhaps I'm choosing something I'm not passionate about. Or perhaps it's actually in how I'm conducting myself, how I'm expressing myself, or an authentic part of myself that's not coming across the way that it should. And I'm going to adjust that a little bit. So for contemplation, we have Keepers of the Earth. It says, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. And I really, especially for Capricorn, again, you are the cardinal earth sign. So you are the sign that kind of is the leader of the stable earth energy. And I like that it says Keepers of the Earth. But I also love here that it says you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. So there's this quality here of, when we think about contemplation and when we think about lessons learned, and as you're coming back from engaging from this place of a fresh, optimistic interaction with your external environment, to bring that back and realize you're never alone. It's never all on you to do everything. And where perhaps have you been acting like it has been? That you've had to create everything. You're the one waiting for the ships. You're the one having to do all the tasks. And in reality, you have always your connection to spirit. And it's funny that this has come up a couple times, but there's almost this like, I keep getting a saying that keeps coming up, that Carrie Underwood song, that Jesus take the wheel. There's almost component to that of get out of your head, get out of this diligent planning, and realize that sometimes when we feel that maybe we are alone, we're never alone, and we can always ask spirit to come in, to say, I'm throwing my hands up, spirit. I'm ready to go out on this adventure with you. But I need to know that you're here with me. And it will always be answered. But first you have to make that decision to take that action. So this is really about kind of learning from where perhaps you've always worked from a certain place of feeling like either you had to do it all, and you either pass that on to somebody else now, kind of in a passive-aggressive way of putting it on them to achieve what you should be achieving for yourself, or where you felt that you were the one that had to achieve it all for everyone else. And to realize you don't have to juggle anything. And it's okay to walk away from security to go out on a new adventure, because that is what you're being asked to do by spirit. So I'm going to pull some clarifier cards for your energy and for your external environment. So let's see, let's get further clarification on the Three of, let's see if anything else wants to come out with the High Priestess. Now, let's see about the Fool. Can we have additional clarification for the Fool? Clarification. Okay. So the High Priestess is a card of deep understanding. This is a card that denotes that all answers lie within us and that we know. There is this quality here of this card in its highest form is showing that for every decision we can tap into our intuition and tap into our direct connection to spirit, source, and have the answer available for us. So there is this quality of what I'm feeling here with this person here is almost like, shouldn't I have my ships? Have I missed my ships? Am I waiting for my ships to come in? And there's this quality of the High Priestess. She says, you know what you're looking at here. You know what's coming in, and you know what ship you might have to get on. And that knowledge is going to come from that direct connection with spirit. It's really saying, let spirit be your guide as you watch what comes in here. Now over here we have the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords is somebody who is trying to basically fight for the sake of fighting. The Five of Swords is, again, trying to win at all costs. This is where we will actually continue to fight a battle just because, even if it hurts other people, even if it hurts ourselves, we will continue to fight just to win. And the number 5 in numerology actually denotes change. And I always feel that this card specifically is where in our minds we are doing everything possible to try to fight against the knowledge that we know something needs to change. And we will continue to fight that battle in our heads until our poor little minds are bloody. And anybody who tries to come in and rationalize with us is going to fall victim. There's also this component to the Five of Swords that I personally pick up on that is a card of the illusion that, so the Ace of Swords in the tarot is your personal truth. It is that knowledge that we are each given our own personal truth from the divine. And we have our one sword. Now the Five of Swords is an illusion that everybody else's sword, everybody else's truth is against our own. That as others come up to you, that they are holding their sword towards you in a form of attack. And so you have to defend yourself. This is where we get into a highly defensive place, where every time somebody brings up something, we instantly attack them. So there's this quality here of not wanting to trust in starting this new adventure. That in your mind, you are doing everything possible to rationalize why you can't jump into this energy, why you can't start anew, why you have to keep juggling, why you can't walk away from the seat of security, why you can't deviate from this tried and true path. And in reality, Spirit's saying, just come on. Come on. Trust yourself. Surrender to what you're feeling. And get out and have fun again. Because that's what life is all about. You're being asked to rework with a passion. And not to work with a passion now that's created anxiety for you, or a passion that's so stressful that you just want to lose yourself in the day-to-day to not even have to work with it anymore. It's saying, no, go out and play with it. Bring it back to center. Bring it back to this emotional place of, yay. What doesn't the world hold for me? And you can put down your sword, because everybody has their own truth. And you don't have to fight other people's truth. You don't have to prove that your truth is the only truth. You can simply just go out and live it. You can simply just enjoy working with your passions. And you can get on a boat and move towards the new if you want, if that's what comes up for you. All right, Capricorn, I hope this has been a illuminating reading. I hope it's given you a little bit of the courage to just come back to you. The courage to come back to self-illumination, but the realization that we don't have to do or be anything more than who we are. And that we can change our goals. We can nurture new ones. And that life is meant to be enjoyed, and we will always have new points in our life where we start a new chapter. And it can be scary, but you're never alone. And you're being asked to step into this new, fresh energy now. This is a new chapter. This is where you get a chance to self-correct a little bit and go back out with a new partner. And that partner is faith. That partner is spirit. All right, Capricorn, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you'd like to book a personal tarot reading or a one-on-one spiritual coaching session with me, the link to my website is in the description box below. I also hope you get a chance to check out your other readings for the month, and I look forward to reading for you again next month. Bye.